You talked about domestic and international concerns, and one of the most important issues facing the country today is security, national security.
Sure.
And at the same time, protecting civil rights. As someone whose civil rights were violated in the 1940s when you were interned with other Japanese American families, what's your perspective on the current situation?
Let me go back to our camp experience. When people put us in camp and used the excuse it was national security. And when Congress and the Japanese American community decided to pursue an apology from this government for the setting aside our constitutional rights, we had to debate among ourselves whether this was appropriate or not. And after 2 years of debate, we decided this is something we needed to do. And we engaged members of Congress like Norman Mineta, Bob Matsui, Senator Inoue, Akaka, Sparky, Mink. And because they understood that background and that experience, they were able to provide some leadership and incentives for other members to become involved in studying why it happened. And through the Wartime Relocation Commission, we found that the reason why World War II internment happens because of racial prejudice, war hysteria, and the failure of political leadership. And part of that failure of political leadership is understanding what national security means, what people's personal security means. And when 9/11 happened, the whole issue of security came back up again. But we knew because of our own experiences that you don't set aside people's civil liberties in order to attain this national sense of security. I think it was Benjamin Franklin that said that those who are willing to give up a little bit of privacy and personal liberties for a little bit of security deserves neither. And I think that that's what drove our community to be upfront in leading the way in saying, you don't give up your civil liberties to acquire some security, national security. You can do both. And that's what makes this country so much different than other countries, is that effort to provide that balance and that promise. And the preamble of the Constitution, ends with, in order to form a more perfect union. And that's our struggle, that's our mission. And I think that as a congressperson, and as one of 534, that has to be our core mission. And we have to model that, no matter how difficult and how scary it is. That's our mandate.
Are we getting there? Are we forming a more perfect union?
I think we are. Even through the hard times of the last 6 years, where I think we went the wrong direction, the political process allows people to learn from our mistakes. For many people, it's a critical mistake because people lose their lives. But in that process, our country is able to make its adjustment. And I think November 7th the people said, we want a different direction. And that's the struggle that the Democratic leadership has today. We have that responsibility, but we also understand the responsibility to govern and bring everybody together in spite of our differences in how we see things. We need to move that ship together and not fracture our ship. And that's both parties and all three parts of our branches of our government on behalf of the people that we represent. And that's both the challenge and the beauty and the burden of this democracy.